We talked a little bit about why this is happening and why this request has been put out. Why not just deny them right away, just reject it?
Because we want to operate differently. Instead of having cold relationships with people where we are denying or accepting applications without conversations, it's not the way we do things here. Generally, if you make an application to Pride Toronto, we are glad that you want to participate in our parade and want to do everything we can to ensure that you are able to participate. So the police are a significant partner of ours. And so we would hardly want to be in a position where we're simply saying yes or no, as though we haven't had a relationship that's developed over 12 months, as though we haven't had conversations about, what the potential is for their participating or not participating. So we want to we want to continue that spirit of partnership, and that spirit of partnership doesn't really chime well with us simply saying yes or no after an application has been made, unless we're forced to.
And you were saying you want to have a discussion before that April 30th deadline. Is there any chance that a discussion could be had and an application may be accepted, or they do march coming up in June?
You know what? I don't know. It really depends on where the police are at. Right now, we know that we are trying to deal with a significant number of issues. It has eroded trust. We need to build that community trust again. And so we think that talking about a parade in the context of what we are living at the moment and what we feel, which is a huge amount of vulnerability, we feel it's inappropriate.
And people have been, we go back to Black Lives Matter 2 years ago now, as well as last year, with the opposition against the having police in uniformed officers, at least in the parade itself. Does that play a role in this decision at all, or is it just basically focused on what's happened in terms of the murders and the arrests?
It all plays a role. To be truthful with you, these murders, it's come to light over the last few months, but actually the LGBTQ plus community has been dealing with it for the last couple of decades. For the last couple of decades that we have consistently spoken about a feeling of a lack of safety in a community that we created in order to feel safe. We've continually spoken about the ways in which we feel that we aren't policed very well. We've continually spoke about how it is we want to be spoken to, engaged with, and how it is we want to work in partnership to make our community feel safer. And so we have had a ton of conversations. We'll continue to have a ton of conversations.
Okay, but you mentioned in the statement this is not something that's done overnight.
Exactly. This is generational. We believe that the systemic issues that involve LGBTQ communities as they apply to the Toronto Police Service is in the current time. We're talking about Bruce McArthur, but before that we were talking about bathhouse raids, we were talking about Marie Curie Park, we were talking about name calling based on HIV and AIDS status. There are a lot of cultural and institutional issues that we believe that we can work with the Toronto Police Service to deal with, but until we address those, it's very hard to understand how we can march side by side in a celebratory manner.